Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I'm so excited to have on a 37-year-old, almost 38-year-old from Caerphilly, Wales. His hockey journey has taken him for sure to Wales, England, Canada, and France. A staple and legend with the Cardiff Devils, has ran amok of Chippy Lane for over a decade and has brought teams together season after season in the Shed's honey hole, Cardiff, Wales, and is a backbone of their recent dynasty. He returns to the Shed after episode 57 with his brother, fellow legend Chris. Has combined for 497 goals, plays, or listens. He is the best kept secret in show business, as he is one of the best entertainers in the world. Runs amok on the dance floor and with the guitar and on the mic. Welcome to my kitchen, Steve George.
I couldn't agree with you more. That introduction is just bang on.
I know it is. That's why I wrote it.
I know. And that's not you saying that. That's Google saying that.
Well, that's the research team finding all that stuff, folks.
They know their stuff. That research team know their stuff.
They do, and the research team knows that happy hockey players win more. And I really do think that you are one of the biggest reasons the Cardiff Devils are good every year. You and your brother. And Fat Alan gets a little bit of credit, right?
Yeah, well, he's got to. You know, he tags along, but he's part of the journey.
Right. He's always there, trying to contribute, mucking it up on the fourth line. He's doing his best, right?
I know. He's a trier. He's a trier. God loves him.
Some people are good on the dance floor and on the mic, right? Some people aren't, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, but keep blended in, Fat Alan, right?
Blend in, go through the motions, get out.
Yeah,
that's my advice to
you know what? It's just about being involved a lot of the times, though. If you're involved, you're a player, right? And Fat Alan is involved, always has been.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more.
I get into how we know each other. You basically come up every time I have a Devil on.
Do you know, I do love the fact that happens.
Well,
and
you deserve it.
All from that one golf tournament, eh, Wally?
I guess you're right. It all started at that golf tournament that day when everybody thought Hendo was your brothers. You guys were all brothers.
He was like the missing link between me and Chris. He was like semi-brown, but a little bit ginger.
Right.
Chris is brown, I'm ginger, so he sort of fitted in the middle. And I think age-wise, I'm a little bit older than him.
Just so,
but it would be great if he was a little bit younger than me, then he would fit in perfectly. But hey, can't have it all.
That golf tournament, though, the research team didn't even write that down today, but that is how we met. And that was when the Devils started to become a team. We showed up to that golf tournament all as individual hockey players. And by gosh, we left that golf tournament a team, didn't we?
My God, didn't we? And I wasn't even on the team.
But, I know. You were after that day.
something galvanized the guys in that Cottrell Park bar when I think you actually said to the bar staff, we'll pay you to keep us here for another 2 hours. They didn't take money. There was no money exchange. They just stayed open out of the goodness of their hearts. Mm-hmm. But there was a good table. There was a good group of guys around that table for an extra 2 hours that night.
You could call them Shed guys.
You could call them Shed guys, and they are.
Yeah. And that was the start of a great season. And like I always say, close teams that do things on and off the ice together win stuff. And that all started at that golf tournament. That was, you have events in your pro career. Some of them suck. Some of them are fun. And I think the teams that I had the most success with was all those functions you could make fun. You could make them fun and not suck. And that golf tournament was the opposite of sucking. Fun is fun, right?
Fun is fun. And good old Calman got everyone together that day for his first event as well, actually, with the Devils. That was his I suppose.
The only complaint I have about the UK golf scene and that day is I had to walk. I'm not a walker.
Yeah.
Not a walker. I like to ride in carts.
My only complaint with the Canadian golf scene is it's 6 months and covered in snow.
That makes sense.
So,
do you guys golf year round there? Because it doesn't really snow, eh?
We are lucky. I mean, today it's nearly. I'm not a big advocate of global warming. It's a bit of a touchy subject. But today in Cardiff is like
It's kind of
17,
worth it.
18 degrees. What? It's not winter right now. I don't know what's going on.
It's a beauty day here too. People call them
Yeah.
good days for living. So I am having a good day for living, but I am home with the kids. They're sick today, but they're being good and letting me have my fun too, right? And then tonight I am going back to my hometown for obscene Halloween, a Halloween party that Boston Levi was supposed to be playing at, but I guess he has since pulled out. So I will not get to see Mike McNamee and Boston Levi play tonight, which would have been really cool, but I'm still going home to see all my buddies and I'm going to dress ridiculously, right? And have fun.
Boston Levi, I think he owes a big part of his career to myself and my band. And putting it out there, Mike, he was in Cardiff. We had the Christmas do. My band were booked to play it. We came on stage, and he was itching to get up there. He was itching.
And you gave him his first opportunity, didn't you?
We gave it. He was only acoustic until that point, and we gave him a flavor of what a drum kit and a bass guitar could do for him. And I think from that point on, maybe
I wish I would have known that when I talked to him in the shed. I'd be interesting if that inspired him,
I've got a great video of him coming up, playing electric guitar for the first time. And he was the second guitar player on Molly's Chambers by Kings of Leon. And he sang it and he did some, pretty decent guitar playing for someone who didn't even know the song at that point. So kudos to him. May have ruined his hockey career, but I ignited a musical career. So
and he is running amok.
I'm pretty sure it's all on me, this one.
And you know what? I'm gonna take some credit for there's a new podcast out there. It's called 3 on 3 Podcast. And Jonathan Williams is one of the hosts of that. And he came to the shed and he said to me that I inspired him by talking to all my friends in my shed and starting a podcast, that now he's done that with his friends. And yesterday they were #1 in the UK. And shout out to you guys. Happy you guys are having fun. You won yesterday. Good for you. But I am very happy for you guys. Proud of you, John. Way to go. Fun is fun, and getting to relive all these memories have brought back so much memories for me and my love of hockey. And I get to see all my old friends. You probably skate with a penguin.
Me?
You. Yes.
I have to crouch down a fair bit, but yeah, I do still need the assistance of the penguin. Yeah.
And you're a shed guy and you're a hockey guy. And I love it that I get to talk to whoever I want to, whenever I want to,
Yeah, this episode isn't about really hockey though, is it? This is about,
well, it is though, because you do win a lot of championships for the Cardiff Devils. You and your brother helped them do that. You know that?
I'm not sure about that, but
it's true. Do you know when we won the Challenge Cup, who was on the ice? Todd Kelman, the coaching staff, the wives, the families, and the George brothers.
Yeah, but illegally,
Well, you're out there hugging the players after we win. I'm pretty sure you're on the team.
There's been, we get a lot of shit for it actually, for doing that, but there's somehow, and when you've got a brother who's like a good salesman like Chris is, he's able to sweet talk people who may be the gatekeeper to the ice.
Yeah.
And he's done it successfully now every single time that we won a championship.
And it's that charming smile, right? Nice hair, good product in it.
Maybe cash is exchanged. Maybe some other goods are. I'm not sure.
Right. But you get out there, and that is living. It's similar to when I took Colby to an Islanders Red Wings game, and there's supposed to be a guy there I knew. There wasn't. Well, I acted like there was, and we got down there and met all the players, and we were right in there with all the families, and we weren't supposed to be there either.
No.
But you guys are supposed to be there. You guys should be on the ice. You guys even come in the locker room. I got pictures of you in the locker room with all the topless men.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the wives would appreciate if I post these pictures, because their husbands have 6-packs and they're, after a hard hockey match with a trophy. I don't know if the wives want that out there for everyone to see, right?
They just
you get to live it.
They're just dehydrated at that point. They haven't got 6-packs. They're just dehydrated.
No. Okay, back on track though. Geez, we're gonna be
Let's
here a
get back
while, I
on it.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. How we know each other. Okay. You
Yeah.
are I didn't know Stephen Dixon, right? Until I got naked in front of him for that Wally night. But like Dicko has just became a player coach for the Glasgow clan.
Yeah. Is that the first time you spoke to him? Did you not
I
know
had
him
never
before?
played with him or against him, and then I did the Wally night skit there, and then I had never really talked to him until he came to the shed the first time, episode 32. Yeah. But it's
I was
interesting how my friends are all friends, like you and Dicko are tight, and one of your poster pics are you two playing golf, and I'm like, yeah, it makes perfect sense. I think he's a great guy too.
Oh, he's a legend. Do you know? Funny enough, like when just the summer before he signed, he's out in Halifax. He lives out there. So Stuart McRae, who was the captain, I think 2 years before you came along,
Right.
he sort of phoned me, and I was like in work, and he's like, "Guess what, buddy? We got another Steve-O coming over to Cardiff this year." And I'm like, "All right." I was like, "Oh, cool. What's his name?" He's like, "Stephen Dixon. Great guy. You'll love him." And I was like, you think like, okay, well, I don't know him, but I like his name. I like his
Right.
name for a start. And he came over, met him for the first time, and he's a top dude. Like
Oh,
I was sad. I was sad this summer when I found out that he was
not,
going up there. I mean, you know, sometimes it works when Chris and I would try and work guys who we really want to come back,
mhm.
like we're sort of part
And
of
to
the
be
recruit.
honest, having you guys around is a draw to players. You know you're going to have more fun when you guys are around. You know you have more fun in Cardiff, and a big part is because you guys take players under your wing. You show them where to go. You show them how to have fun, and it makes life more fun when you guys are around.
An unofficial social secretary, I think, is the title. But with him, I remember when we won the playoffs last year, or this year, sorry. We were just sitting in Brewhouse, and we Chris we're like, "One more year, Dicko," because he's 30, he's my age, he's
Yeah,
old,
I
and
know.
I'm like, "One more year, Dicko, come on, son, one more year." And we're pumping him, and he was just like, "Yeah," he's batting us off a little bit. And we really wanted him back because he's such a good guy to have around the place. Like he's when he laughs, he's in the bar. You can hear him from like if you're in O'Neill's and he's in Brewhouse, when he starts cracking up, you'll hear him across the street. It's
Yeah.
it's an it's an amazing talent that he's got with his laugh.
Well, it's interesting for me because I just watch all this crap from my phone of what it's like over there. But when I see all my friends, Marty and all the fellas, and you guys posting pictures of having fun, Dicko's in the middle of it every time. And
Every
I
time.
never played with him, but every time I see pictures of people having fun and him living, it's Dicko's in the middle of it. And I think that now that the Clan have made this coaching change and he's interim, I personally think their team is going to find a way to win games for him. He's the type of guy players are going to want to play for. And I think that team's going to come together because Stephen Dixon's their coach.
Yeah, I just hope the fans like give him the grace of time. It's
Yeah.
a hard gig going
Well,
from.
especially since he's just trying to play hockey at 37 or whatever he is now, right? Now he's going to be doing video and the pregame speeches and the pregame meetings and all that baloney.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, I wish him. I really hope he does well. Just all he needs a little bit of a win and a little
Oh,
bit of a
yeah.
streak, and everything will be forgotten. And they can like press the reset button with Dicko in charge. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know. They is the grand plan to have him there for the majority of the season now, or is it just an interim measure? I don't know.
I
Um,
honestly don't know either. I think you got to see how it plays out a bit, right? You see these interim things. It's like, well, if it's working, then why
yeah,
look
but just
elsewhere?
give him the grace of time because a lot of people are always quick to jump on the
Well, it's like
negativity.
I say about teams, though. Teams that win are teams that are together, that like love each other and would do anything for each other. Dicko's been that way as a player his whole career. I can tell from what everybody says about him and his reputation around the sport. And when he's your coach, you're gonna do more for him because you love him and you'll do it, right?
Yeah, Yeah,
When
you're
guys
totally
want to
right.
win for their coach, it changes everything.
I think you're totally right. We've had it with G back in Cardiff. We had it with Lordo.
Yeah.
And I feel like the same's happening with Dukes now with the guys. Like
Oh,
he's one of
yeah.
them,
Yep.
and everyone wants to play for him and win for him. So it's a nice position to be in down in Cardiff right now.
Yeah. And good luck, Dicko. Hope it goes well for you. Yeah, a couple shed guys on that team I know will be there for you. Matthew Waugh, and anywho, here we go. Let's see here. What do I got? I missed you at the Matthew Myers testimonial.
Oh, it's a problem. When
So it's
you've got,
interesting for me is because like when I was over there and we would have our memorable nights together, memorable days, it wasn't like me and you were texting each other like, hey, let's set this up. But we were always there together and we would always have a time. When I was going over, I just assumed you'd be there, and I never did write to you like, hey, I'm coming.
it's like with the international lady that I've got in my life, as soon as family come over from your neck of the woods, the focus changes slightly,
Mm-hmm. Love
So
is love.
I gotta play ball. I can't be that idiot.
You've been out on the dance floor behind the mic for years. You're right. You got to play this game now, right?
I gotta grow up, Wally. I'm nearly 40, for God's sake.
I've been trying to grow up too.
Yeah. Well, maybe podding is something I should do and take my mind away from the other things that.
If anybody wants to start a shed that would make them happier, I'm right here to come to it because it sure helped me. And I had a tough time when I moved back, and now I'm happy all the time.
Yeah, no, you're doing a great job, and I think you're doing a great job for people like you who have left the sport and keeping in touch and still have something to say.
It's amazing how many more of my friends are all writing and talking now,
Great. No, it really is good. Well done. Keep
Thanks.
it up.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Don't say anything nice to me again.
I won't.
When last time we talked, episode 57, I don't think I had met Ryan Finnerty yet.
Oh God, Finner, yeah. Good friend of mine. Really
right. And you guys are friends. And then and I watched the guys he recruited. I watched him coach. I watched the way his team played. I'm like, that's a coach I'd want to play for. Then I had him in the shed and I'm like, yeah, it's true. And then I remembered your first episode with Chris, and you were telling me a story about the upside down house or whatever. And then Finner tells me that's his house. And I was like, oh, I'm finally connecting the dots now.
He was. Do you know, I actually really didn't like him the first day I met him. I remember Bevo was friendly with him.
Who's
Voth,
Bevo? Oh, Voth.
Brad Voth. Yeah,
that guy can dodge and dip and duck and dive. Yeah, I tried getting him in the shed, and he got all nervous.
Yeah, I'll reach out. But Finner, when he first, because he was obviously Sheffield beforehand as well, but he came down, and I remember I met Finner and Bevo for lunch in O'Neill's on the first day he landed and came down. And I think he was looking at me going like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, look at his tight pants and fashionably responsible. Yeah.
I'm like, actually, this guy's not that fun at all. Like Bevo's talking up and he's not that fun at all. And then as the weeks went on, sort of got closer to him and then realized he was an absolute like salt of the earth guy. Absolute, like, would do anything.
Hard exterior, but just a soft inside, eh?
He's a tough guy as well. Like that's what I notice about him. I mean, we'd be in the bars in like O'Neill's and Lava Lounge following like a Sunday game, and him and Bevo would have this thing where they'd like just run up like and just basically sucker punch each other. and I remember like thinking that looks like it fucking hurts.
Right.
If Bevo runs up and punches you like full force in the arm, I wouldn't want that at all.
No.
But Finner like kind of took it like a man and then would do it back to him in like half an hour's time, just really sneakily. I'm thinking,
just interesting games boys can play,
hockey,
isn't it? Yeah.
Hockey bonding is quite weird. I'm like, just shake each other's hand, buy each other a drink, don't fucking punch each other.
Well, yeah. Hockey guys are different though,
That was a good. I listened to that episode actually, where he was talking about that
So you
that
got,
night.
so just to, because everybody doesn't listen to every episode though, you guys, right? When Finner was out or something, you guys moved his whole house around, like, and he had a gal with him, right? He was married at the time or whatever. You guys
He was,
moved his whole house around, right?
so he was married, and I think the lady in question was away in Greece or something for Christmas with her mother, and like he made a point to everyone that, like, you know, when he goes out, you just leave his door open. So, you know, he proudly kind of saying, if you guys need a place to stay, I know you live in Caerphilly right now. If you need a place to stay, which I really appreciated, you know, if you need a place to stay,
It's
doors
always
open.
it's always unlocked, just like Hendo and Hoth's apartment every morning.
Yeah,
They'd never
yeah.
learn. Every Monday morning when they think they've had a great Sunday night out and I'm getting up with the kids, I'm not going to come wake them up. Hey, half day, kids are sick.
Yeah. Ooh. So he proudly left it open for us. He loved staying out a little bit later. Get
He
some.
thinks he's still in Saskatchewan and can just leave the doors open all the time,
Yeah,
or unlocked. He thinks he's living in Concord, Ontario.
Yeah, back in those days, he was, you know, he'd would go out, maybe roll the dice in the Nino for a couple of hours post bars closing. So we're like, this is a perfect opportunity. And I remember it was me, Chris, Voth, and John Pell, or Pele.
Yeah, scored a lot of goals, I believe.
Oh man, good guy. But opened the door, and it was like the glory moment when the door opened. We're like, we've got full access to Finner's house. You know, if there's a guy who's going to take
so
it,
it's you, Pele, and who else?
My brother.
Yeah, he's always involved.
And Voth. So it was just like open season. The first thing, actually.
So you guys are out on the town with Finner, and he's still out. And you guys head to his apartment.
Yeah, like it's Christmas time, and back in those days, they all lived in this little complex in Poncana. So this little weird kind of cul-de-sac complex. So they'd all back onto each other. So you'd have like apartments that side and apartments that side.
So you guys headed back a little bit earlier.
And yeah, like, well, we didn't. It was late. You know, we were pretty hammered, and we were just like wanting to go home. But Finner stayed out, and Finner, like, we're gonna do this hard now in your house. So we walk in.
If you're gonna do something, you may as well do it right.
Yeah, do you know? And the first thing we thought of was like, we'll just do the downstairs, but what we'll do, we'll try and find some like duct tape, and we'll just duct tape everything to the ceiling, like everything that we could find.
You need a lot of duct tape in the middle of the night, though.
Yeah, but it would have been worth it. We had like hours because we knew he wasn't going to be back. So like, we can really make the best night of this with duct tape. And then
that's fun. Fun is fun.
We didn't have any duct tape, and also B&Q wasn't open at that point, be it 2:00 on a Sunday morning. So anyway, we just decided to do this like upstairs, downstairs scenario, and it was Christmas. So there was like, it was really actually pathetic because there was a Christmas tree out and everything. And we thought, oh, putting that up in his bedroom would be fun. And then we're like, well, bringing his bedroom downstairs would be even more fun. So we're like, honestly, Wally, we are pissing ourselves laughing. Like,
I would have loved being a part of this. Honestly, God, I really wish I was there.
We were drunk as well, and we were like gouging like plaster off his walls.
Making a couple holes in the walls.
Honestly, mate, we were like dragging a sofa from the living room all the way up into his second floor bedroom. And then we did it after about 2 hours. We did it, and we made it look like a magazine shoot, you know.
It looked nice. You guys
decorated. It looked beautiful. And someone,
he must have come home and thought he was in the wrong place.
I would love to have seen CCTV footage of him walking through that door. But like, honestly, it looks so good. We made it look so, we like spanned the magazines out all over his like coffee table, which is now in his bedroom. The Christmas tree is like outside the toilet, and then we've got all the presents like ready out in the second floor. And then we go downstairs, and it's like this beautiful bedroom that we've got in his kitchen. Honestly, it was so. It would have been like,
so fun, right?
Crying. I remember crying, laughing. Yeah. But all of us were just, because it's Finner, right? Like he's gonna take it well, but he's gonna be pretty pissed as well.
Right. He's gonna be mad, but also laughing, like, haha, that's funny.
So someone had a phone I think Finna talked about this on his episode. But like we did a legitimate like Cribs episode. Remember Cribs from MTV?
Oh, sure do. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we like someone knocked on the door outside and we opened the door and
You did
someone
all
killed.
this that night?
Yeah, it was amazing. Like we're so hammered as well. It was just so funny. And like I think like Pele opened the door. He's like, "Hey, I'm Ryan Finley. This is my crib. It's an upstairs down crib. Let's go up the first floor and see the let's see the living room upstairs." And like the guys go upstairs and we like filming it all. Oh man, it was so fucking funny.
And people wonder like why guys in Cardiff have so much fun. It's hanging
Yeah.
out with guys like you. Because I
You
tell
know-
you, like,
Do you know one thing?
well, so I brought Western Michigan. How I can relate to this story is I bring the Western Michigan fellas on and we talk about the U Club. And I'm telling you, the U Club was something special in my life. And there was a night where we had a shaker, you could call it. It's, what is it? A 4-bedroom apartment, 2 toilets between the 4 bedrooms, and that's it. A living room and a kitchen. That it's basic, but it's a shaker. A gal, I'm not sure who it was, passes out on the couch. So the night's over, everybody's left, and there's a passed out girl on the couch. So started with a good base.
Yeah, where's this going?
Got the coffee table over top and basically piled the whole apartment on top of her safely.
Yeah.
Safely.
Yeah.
But it was
no heavy object, sharp objects.
But there we were moving furniture, we were moving things, and we piled. I wasn't involved. We piled the apartment on top of her. So when she woke up, the whole apartment was on top of her.
And she potentially could have had a fatality because of the object you were.
No,
No,
it was safe. It was a good foundation at the bottom, and that I'm an engineering supervisor now, Steve.
Yeah,
it was built well.
Yeah.
So when we woke up, she had gotten out of the fort and got home. So
you're a supervising engineer now, but you weren't an engineer at that point. So I would question the rigidity of the structure you built.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
One thing.
It worked though. Okay, nobody got hurt. That's all that matters. Right.
Just one thing going back to that Finna story is that we talk about the fun that we had doing it, but no one really talks about that he actually kept it like that for about 2.5 weeks.
Right. So, I remember you saying like, eventually he was like, "Hey, like people are coming from home. Can you can you guys help?" Like,
it was Boxing Day and the Devils had a game, and he texted me. He's like, "Guys, I really need you to get and sort that." And like Bevo and Pals are like, "There's no way that I'm gonna put that back to normal." Like, there's no. And I felt pretty bad because his wife was coming back from Greece like the day after Boxing Day. So Chris and I literally had to go down. He said, "I'll leave the door open for you." I was like, "I know, leave the door open. We know that's open." So we go back down on Boxing Day, like leave the family dinner and literally lug all this stuff back, put his sofa back downstairs, put his bed back upstairs, the kitchen's back to normal. And that was it.
Oh, no, that's a great story though. And I was thinking about that. I'm always thinking once I book a guy and I get all excited, I get all antsy to talk to you and I start reliving memories in my head while I'm living. And that one popped up and I was like, geez, I really wish I would have been a part of that story because that sounds like a lot of fun.
It was so funny. I very rarely cry laughing, but I was crying laughing. Just imagining in his like angry face walking through and seeing that bed in his kitchen.
Oh God. Okay. Where and what are you doing now?
Where am I? I'm in the suburbs of Cardiff, or weirdly a city of Cardiff. It's called Llandaff, where I now reside.
Llandaff is that not by the Met? Cardiff Met, where they give out
MBAs?
It's
close to your old stomping ground, actually. Yeah.
Llandaff. That's the kids have a couple books that we bought them when they're little ones. Like there's an Easter one and a Christmas one, and it's about Wales, and I forget how it goes, but Landaf is definitely involved. I've read it to the kids. I know it.
So we got a cathedral here. So weirdly in the UK, if you've got a cathedral, I think this is the rules. If you've got a cathedral in your area, you're then classed as a city.
Really?
So we're like a city within a city because we've got Landaf Cathedral. So when
then
you
Landaf
drive
is
in,
considered its own thing instead of like the suburb.
kind of, yeah, kind of. So it says like the city of Landaf, which is weird. And
Is
the king was here.
Landaf the part? Is that by Pontcanna with the big park?
Yeah, is exactly, yeah, right by there.
Amazing how much better my brain works now than it did for the first few years I was home, because I kind of just shut off all my memories for a while. Now they're all back.
Yeah,
It's weird how that works.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, but we are close to Pontcanna. We're the king was here the other day, right? So when he got when the queen sort of went,
Yeah.
I don't know how you say it, passed,
Passed. Yeah. Passed.
and the king was getting kind of, I don't even know the word for this. Is it anointed or something like that?
Oh, you're asking the wrong person.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah. He
his
came to Landaf, you said, right?
he came like literally just left the house here, just went out on the street, and we waited for like
The king. The
the
king.
king, yeah,
The
Charles.
actual king was right there.
He's literally outside the door, yeah.
I found it like I don't know. Royalty and that sort of thing, that's kind of different for me, right? Because like we don't really have that around here. And then
But you love it though. Canadians love it. You love it more than we do.
really?
Oh, for sure. Like you go to like a funeral or a wedding, or I don't know, like a fifth birthday party. If they're royalty, I reckon like 65% of the audience in London is Canadian or North American.
I have no idea. I don't
Yeah,
know
it's
it.
weird.
I don't know anything about any of it, actually.
Yeah, it's strange.
I could tell though, I guess for the podcast was I could tell via social media how much it means to people and how important she was. And
Yeah, she was class.
right.
My granddad's going to be he's 97, and when you're 100 in the UK, you get like a letter from the Queen to say congratulations, like good innings or whatever. You know, you're 100. Signed Liz. And now she's not here. Charles will send it, and I'm like, oh, for him, if he hangs around for another couple of years, I kind of want it to be from Elizabeth. I don't. It cheapened with. I don't know. It's just I just wanted to be from Elizabeth.
It's all very different, right? Like I remember in Denmark when we were playing a hockey game, and I think they called it a prince, maybe, was in the crowd, and like all of a sudden they announced that they were there, and like there's big standing ovation, and how everybody, it meant so much to people. And I'm like, so this is because they're their parents and they're their parents and they're their parents that you think this highly of them. And it's like, that's interesting to me, because what if they're not a great person? Like, can't be that great of a thing they're here. I don't know. I don't even know them. I haven't even met them. Are they a shed person? I don't know.
That'll be a good feather in the cap if you get King Charles on the
yeah.
yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I'd have to get to know him first. That somebody would have to recommend him to me before I would ask him.
So I tell you what was funny is like there's a load of schools around where we are, so they lined the streets. The kids were allowed out early, so they lined the streets with all these kids, and they all got Union Jacks waving around the place. And we're like
Union Jacks. Sorry, it's a dumb question. No, I don't.
The British flag.
Okay, that's a dumb question then. That's called a Union Jack.
Yeah.
Dumb question for the day, I guess, but I didn't know that. Okay. So learned something today.
So all the streets like outside the house are lined with these kids like screaming and whooping and hollering. They all got Union flags waving, and we're out there for like 45 minutes. So you know they're getting a bit antsy, and we're waiting for the king to arrive, and I'm standing amongst all these school kids, and you know it's a bit of a weird experience. But there's anyone who would come down the road would get like a massive kind of round of applause, and all these kids are whooping and hollering. So every car that would come down or bus, everyone's like, woo, you know, and there was this one guy who was on a push bike, and he had a bag of cans attached to his handlebars. I think he was unemployed.
Right. He
'Cause-
was probably looking for cans to get some money, right?
yeah,
Give or
and
take. So
he came
you could say he's unemployed, but he's actually employed because I have respect for that guy because he is out there hustling and finding cans, right?
but he was in they were in a carrier bag attached to his handlebars. But this was the best thing that happened for the day, because the king turned up for 45 seconds. This guy really took his time to drive past the crowd, took his top off, was like swinging it around his head, getting like all the applause.
He took his top off for the school kids.
Which was obviously quite distressing for some of the parents.
Right.
But for me,
kind of like when my son played roller hockey with the topless referee. Friday, half day.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cheers.
It was cheers. I've got a beer here as well.
Can't even see with your faded out background there.
Sorry,
Don't want everybody to see your workbench in the back.
No, I'm trying to. Yeah, the weights deck.
Okay, I'm gonna actually keep this going because I have a lot of notes that we haven't even touched on, and memories and stories. You did say you have an international gal, and where you're living now in Landaff, did you not just do a big reno to a place? Did you not fix her all up? Because I respect that, because I've done a few things like that in my day, and it's a lot of work, but when it's done, you're like, jeepers, look at this now, right?
We did. We've finished. We're kind of finished. We've done the interior. This you probably can't see it, but later I've got this this kind of paneling.
You didn't want everybody to see his underwear, folks, so he faded out the background.
No, I tell
you
what,
though, skid marks in there, maybe.
I don't know if it's just Canadian women, but she's very handy with the tools. So
I don't know if that's all of them, but there are some out there that are very handy. Yeah.
What's Lisa like? Because she's basically challenging my manhood here by building stuff constantly around the house, and I don't even own a spanner. Right. And she's got she came over with a Roy power pack. She's whipping things up. She's hanging mirrors. I'm like,
Lisa's always taken pride in being able to do things like that in the house. I can do them if she wants the help, but sometimes she likes to do those things. So
yeah. I kind of I'm good at handing her stuff. I'm like a really good sous chef in terms of the.
See, Lisa decorates the house. I decorate the shed.
Okay, so but we're not in the shed right now. We're in the kitchen.
The kids, I gotta have an eye on them here. I want to be in the shed. We were supposed to do this yesterday, and the kids were supposed to be at school, and we've been in one around here. So
yeah. But yeah, international Calgarian.
Is that right? I haven't heard a love story in a while. What's the love story? You're meeting a Calgarian, because I've always known you've had a thing for Canadians. Usually they were men.
Tell you that.
You've no, I'm just saying, because most of your best friends are Canadians.
Did Lisa tell you about the love letters I was slipping her in the?
She's American, man. She ain't Canadian.
Okay, well, I take it back then.
No, this household, we got a Canadian, an American, a German, and a Welsh.
Okay, well, what a mix! What a melting pot of cultures.
It really is. Yeah, we were all born in different countries. It's kind of weird, but not really talked about. Yep. One of my favorite photos of a family is us holding up the flag where we were born. Because I think it's funny.
It was actually quite nice, because I think with hockey players, they meet a lot of people in their careers. But yourself, you've been to Germany.
That's how you start a shed.
Yeah, but when you come to marrying someone, you've got a lot of friends to invite internationally. And I remember being at the Hoth wedding with Ashley and Andrew, and that was in your neck of the woods. And there was flags of everyone who came from afar. And it was pretty crazy, the amount of internationals that would attend a hockey player's wedding.
Well, it's the people that you're really tight with that will make the effort to be there, and that but then there's some people you get invited and it's like, I want to be there. It's just not feasible. And I think that's how this podcast starts and that we start the shed is that you become best friends and brothers with guys, and they get married and they have life moments, but like you're all so scattered. It's like you show up on a hockey team and you become best friends with 25 guys, and then you're literally not from anywhere near each other, you know?
Yeah, as in continent wise as well.
Well, yeah, all of it. Yeah. I guess that's how the shed's been listened to in 72 countries, right?
That's crazy, isn't it?
The whole thing's crazy. The whole thing, like that, I'm wearing a 2 L's and Hockey Tales shirt, that I have a hat, that I have the jerseys, the Twix, the Kit Kats, the Buenos, like all of it is just so. If I actually sat down one day and thought about stuff, I'd be like, wow, this has been a really neat year and a bit,
Yeah.
right?
That's why the viewing rates will probably go down with this episode, because people think it's Stephen Dixon and it's actually Stephen George. But there we go. We'll back through.
I'm pretty sure people are going to listen to this because what I've noticed from the ratings of my episodes is it's not about the hockey career. It's about the person. So I ain't a jock sniffer and I ain't going around trying to get NHL players to come to my shed, because I want people that are recommended. And sorry, King, until someone recommends you, I ain't asking, because you're not a shed guy until you've been recommended, right? Is that too much? You know?
No.
Okay. Love story. Did we get into that? How did you meet a Canadian?
So a bit of a weird one.
It wasn't at like a wedding where you went to Canada to see how many.
No,
I got so many questions, but go ahead. Tell me the story.
I actually this one was a good one, because I got invited to a surprise birthday in Calgary, and his name comes up all the time because we're very tight. But Voth was 40 back in 2020, so it was just before lockdown. So,
see, and I feel like Vother and I would really get along. Did you know he's great friends with Daryl Andrews too, who has nothing to do with you guys. He's from Sunderusky in Western Michigan, but he's from Calgary. Shed guys are shed guys, you know? I bet you and Daryl Andrews would get along. It's a bizarre world.
I'll tell Bradley to pull his finger out his ass and get on this podcast. Don't worry.
You should.
And he will, and he'll be good value as well.
And you know what? I actually haven't reached out in like probably over a year because I get really sidetracked. I probably got a lot of guys in mental pretzels because I reached out. I'm like, hey, let's do this. And they're like, yeah, okay. And then they never hear from me again because I got a lot going on and it's a day-to-day type of a gig, right?
Yeah, exactly. But the story goes that, you know, we got myself, Franny, and Corky flew out to Calgary in February 2020, just before lockdown, for his 40th. And as you do, you know, you've got like a little app set up, and you know, you try to meet new people.
I gotta interrupt you there. Sorry. Vother invited, he is a shed guy, Corky, to his 40th, because Corky's not a hockey player. And just so everybody knows who he is, he's the guy that owned or runs the merchandise for the Devils in the arena, right? And he's a great guy. He's always around the team. He does everything for anybody. He's helped me out so many times. But Vother invited him to his 40th, or who's inviting him?
Yeah, Corky's actually won many awards for his customer service as well, which goes unrecognized by a lot of people.
And he's a fantastic person. Yeah.
Yeah. But so Voth didn't know this thing was going on. So his family sort of reached out to a couple of his old Welsh pals, and you know, we made the night pretty special for him when we turned up. And he's like, you know, you imagine like senior pals which you haven't seen for like 5 or 6 years turn up in your hometown from Cardiff, flew all that way, and
that would mean so much, right? That you guys did that for him. That guy must have been ready to about cry.
I think he may have shed a little tear. I won't call
if
him
you out there, if you walked in out of nowhere on me, I would be like, what in the hell? I'm gonna have a fantastic night tonight.
You never know. Like, what if you get a shed party together for your 40th in your hometown?
Oh, jeepers.
I know. Think about it. But anyway, where were we? Right. So we fly over, get to Calgary, land. go to a surprise birthday. At that time, you're active on the social side of things. You're trying to meet new people for when you're in a new city. Come across a lady called Amanda, said, yeah, in the city, let's meet up. Go to Earl's in Mission. If there's any sort of Calgarian listeners here, you'll know where Earl's is in Mission. Dropped in there. Rest is history, man.
Is that right? So she wasn't at the birthday party. It was you met up, you guys just hit it off.
Yeah.
And so is she still back in Canada and then you're there?
She's like over there, like literally
dear, right by the workbench there where it's all fogged out.
No, she's just on the other side of the door. But she
has she moved over there to be with you?
Yeah, so don't make it sound so drastic. She's a lucky girl as well.
Oh, I know. I've seen you. I've met you. I know. I know.
Exactly.
But so did she ever say, hey, why don't you come to Calgary or no?
Well, it's a bit cold, isn't it, in the winters? So
right.
We both like to golf, so we get 12 months now.
Oh, that's great. She's a golfer?
She's good. I mean, she can do with finessing her chips a little bit, and she got to read putts a bit better. But
short game's a bit of an issue, but a nice swing.
Well, she hammers it. Like, she'll go off the reds and she'll knock it past my old man and his mates all day. Because she's like a gymnast where her spine goes like the other way. So she really generates like a lot of torque.
It's all in the hips, you could say.
All in the hips, Wally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and do you know what the funny thing is though? That I left then after meeting her, and whatever happened that night, and we go back to Wales, and lockdown happens. COVID. There's this thing called COVID-19 then that happened.
I heard of it.
The corona. And we were like kind of locked in, so we would constantly like call each other and watch films like over the internet together, which is kind of sickening now.
Dear.
But and then we went right. Well, what's the only place that's open in planet Earth? And it was Tenerife in Spain, this little island off the outskirts of Spain. So we were like, right,
let's go do that.
Let's go to Tenerife. I'll meet you out there.
Tenerife.
So yeah, and then the rest is history. After that, we kind of settled down, and here we are back in Cardiff.
I know. So that's I love it. I'm happy. You're happy. When you're happy, I'm happy, and I think it's great. And you got that nice glow, that nice ginger glow that you're loving life, and you got the house renoed. You've been doing the work, and question now that you're living this life, this stable, partnered life, are you making many Devils games, and are you hitting Chippy Lane?
We're making Devils games.
Are you in there like swimwear with the team like you used to be?
We definitely are. Yeah. I hope so.
You haven't taken a step back with the love?
Well, I mean, like, we're in the changing rooms. We've been allowed.
That's all I need to know.
We've been allowed access.
This Devils team's going to win a trophy then, folks. Just letting you know.
When we get like, when Chris and I get buzzed up, especially if a victory, there's no stopping us. Like, we're going down, we're celebrating in the changing room. It's probably a little bit out of order, I suppose. But
no, it's not at all.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a bad move.
There's only you two are the only people in the world that can pull off what you do. Is that you're just guys from the town that never played hockey, that need a penguin to skate around, but that you actually bring teams together every year, and you actually make them enjoy life more, and then they win more.
But do you know what? Like, when you walk through that dressing room door, and you've got like really good mates like Lewis, Marty, Richie, Batchy, Benny Davis, all these boys I've known for so long now. It's not like walking into a foreign dressing room.
I know.
It's just like walking in, seeing your pals and going, "You did good tonight. Thank you so much for entertaining us." Like, onwards and upwards and all that.
And if they lose, you usually just walk out the door and leave.
It's not our place. It's not our place to go in and celebrate losses. Even though I did do that once in Belfast, and Hendo was there. I was working over in Belfast, and we lost the first leg of a Challenge Cup, I think, semi-final or something. And I found out Hendo like texted me like where they were staying, and I turned up at this hotel. I was pretty buzzed up, and I walk into the dining room where they're all having dinner, and I'm like, fuck it, boys, we'll just get them next time. Don't worry, you did all right. And he grabs me, he's like, sits me down, pretty still buzzed up. And
yeah, and he's like, not now.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that in front of everyone.
Yeah.
I was like, sorry.
And what's funny is like when I watch all the stuff from over here in the shed, usually not the kitchen, is like you see how much the fans write about stuff after a loss or after a win. And it is, to me, I think it's quite humorous that they write the stuff that like these players already know. The players know they won or lost. The players are way more pissed off than you. So if you want to get your thumbs out and get on your phone and tell everybody how much the team sucked tonight, guess what? They already know that. And they're not having any fun tonight. They're not going to Chippy Lane. And you know what they actually want to do? They wanted to win that game, and they wanted to go to Chippy Lane and have a great time. Right?
Yeah.
So you don't actually need to get your thumbs out and let everybody know how much they suck tonight, because they already know. And it was the same with my coaches. If I knew I screwed up, you didn't have to tell me. I knew I turned it over. I got you. I'm not going to do it again. Right?
Yeah. I always think that with like the ice hockey fans, not just Cardiff, every team, it's the people who tweet the most about the successes are also the people who tweet most
about the
derogatory
losses.
Statements. Yeah, the most derogatory stuff about the performance.
Yeah.
Like
the tweets I like, or well, not the tweets or whatever it is just how much joy they have going to the game, and like the pictures of the guys, the players with kids and families and stuff like that. Like, I don't actually really care who wins or loses the games anymore. I just want everybody to enjoy the sport and be having fun when they go to a rink, but you don't celebrate losses.
This is all your fault though, because the expectation in the bar has been raised since you guys came along in that season and started winning stuff. And
well, winning is fun, and it's just the expectations are different now, and it gets a bit annoying. Hey, come here. I got someone to say hi. You don't want to say hi to, you don't. Come here. I got a young man here that you haven't seen since he was a young pup.
Say hi. Colby boy.
Hi.
Colby boy, what's happening?
Nothing.
Hey, is that a mustache I see you growing?
No.
No? No? How's the hockey going, bud?
Good.
Yeah? You scoring goals?
Yeah, I've got 2 so far. I've got 1 how many games? We just won a tournament, and we had 2 exhibitions and 2 regular seasons.
Was that you taking that penalty shot to win the game?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Nice. You put it top shelf, didn't you?
No, it flipped over his pad.
Oh, did it? Well, just say you did though, because no one can see it on the grainy video. Just say, yeah, did it on purpose. You're gonna be scoring more goals than your old man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not hard, is it? Let's be honest. Just keep your knees in check and you'll be fine. Good to speak to you though, bud.
Hit.
Here he goes. He's gone.
I don't know what you guys said to each other because the headphones are on, but hopefully.
You just telling me he was texting from school.
No, but his shootout goal to win a big game there last weekend was pretty cool. So we've been talking about it, that I want him to work on like going all the way to the backhand, right? And then he goes in the penalty shot and he does a toe drag. And I was, after the game, I couldn't tell from the other end of the ice. I'm like, did you go 5-hole? What'd you do? And he's like, no, I flipped it over his pad. And it's like, okay.
Oh, I thought he said it hit the pad and it flipped over.
No, like he did a toe drag and then the goalie went down and then he like flipped it over his pad.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. No wonder I was saying, I thought he went. You can't tell basically from the video.
No, you can't tell, but I couldn't tell watching it. And he toe dragged and then the goalie goes down. And then I was like, so how did that go in? And he flipped it over the pad and like he toe dragged and then flipped. So that is kind of. I don't know where he gets it from. His mother's quite good at soccer or football, you could call it. So if you were going to Chippy Lane now, what would you order? And what would you order when you went there when you were 20 years old? Because you've been going there for a long time, haven't you?
For a long time. So I you know, if you're from Cardiff, you go into Dorothy's and you're having chicken curry off the bone with chips.
Really?
You know, honestly, sometimes it's disgusting what I do. I'll have like chicken curry off the bone and chips, and then like a cup of gravy to put on top of it as well. So you're having a curry and gravy mix.
Okay.
And that's when you know you've been in a bit of a hole like that night. When you combine curry and gravy,
Yeah.
you're degenerate.
I try to stay away from the curry, but yeah.
Now it's all like jazzy down there now in Chippy Lane. They've got like, you know, neon lights, and it you know, it's changed from where it used to be.
Last time I went down there, it was like watching when I got to the end of Chippy Lane and I saw it after the testimonial, and there it was hen do's and stag do's all the way down the alley. It looked like a skating rink. It looked like people needed penguins because they're all stepping on the mushy French fries, and it was like they all needed penguins to stay upright.
It's crazy. Like the internationals, when the rugby's in town, you've never seen so much packaging, discarded packaging in all. It's actually quite depressing to look at.
To be honest, it's pretty neat that it's all cleaned up every morning, though. I don't know when or how it happens, but it's clean every day until the nighttime.
You call it a Chippy Lane Fairy.
Right.
So every Saturday, every Sunday morning, early hours, a Chippy Lane Fairy comes down and it's
just
all
cleans it up. It is weird when it happens. Here, we got one more to say hi to you. You haven't seen this gal since she was a baby. Come here. Come say hi to Steve.
Oh, hey, Zoe.
Hi.
What's going on?
Nothing.
The last time I saw you, your dad took you to the Eli Jenkins pub in Cardiff Bay, and you didn't know how to speak at that point. All you know how to do was to cry because you were a little baby. But now, look at you. You're growing up so fast. Yeah. Okay, well, you know, great chat. It's lovely to speak to you. Just give your dad a signal to say the conversation has ended. Just put your hand up in the air, because you can take your headphones off. Just put your hand up in the air and say conversation over.
Conversation over?
Good. There we go.
Did she just put up her hand and say conversation over?
Not much of a talker, I'll give her that.
Well, she warms up to you, you know, it all changes eventually.
To be fair, she's probably never, she can't remember me.
No, and the accent would be a little different for her too right now.
She looked like a little rabbit in the headlights then when I started talking to her. Can we edit that out of the episode? I feel a bit weird about that.
What'd you say to her?
Just talking about old times, and she sort of looked at me, dead eyes, going,
that's what she does. She's just messing with you. She messes with everybody. She's just toying with you. That's what she does. But no, we still do not have an editing team or a sales and marketing team. If you'd like to sponsor the shed, please do. But we just reach out. But we do have a website, aleshockeytales.com, and I never bring it up, and I never talk about it. You can buy clothes, you can buy merch there. Sean Collins takes care of it all, and he does all of it for me, and I can't thank him enough. But if anybody does want to buy stuff, that's where you go, aleshockeytales.com, and I never remember to talk about it, right?
Well, you did it now, so well plugged.
Boom. So buy some merch, folks, and send me a picture if you do, because when people send me photos of people in shed gear, that is wild stuff, right?
No nudes.
Do you know what's tough is I was like, oh, well, research team, what's he going to do today? And then I would wrote down a bunch of stuff and memories, and we have talked about totally other different stories and memories, and we could go on for about 8 hours, I think.
We could. Do you basically want me to go now? Is this
absolutely not? I don't want you going anywhere.
Come to the natural end.
Nope. Let's see here. Well, Deeds, you sent me a photo for your poster of Deeds, and you're in like a shed or a bar or something, and I think you're with Fat Allen, but he's still giving her, eh?
Oh, I mean, that picture is taken in Stratford, Ontario.
I thought, is that when you went to Canada and he picked you up in a limo?
Yeah. No, this was actually the time after that. So it's weird.
You've been in Stratford twice. That's not far from here.
They know me by name over there now on the door of the bars and stuff. But it reminded me of the town from Back to the Future for some reason. It kind of looks like that. It's got a clock tower, and it's just the whole community is in that one little area. I expect to see like Biff come around on a fucking hoverboard or something, in the future. But the first time he picked me up was 2014 when we first got to know each other, and that was to go back to Stratford after Mac Faulkner's wedding. This time was 2018 when he picked us up, took us to Stratford for the Hoth wedding. And I gotta say, like we in the UK never realize how big Canada is until you have to go to a bloody wedding. Because God bless him.
You realize how far away everybody actually is. You guys are way closer.
Everything is so far away, man, in Canada.
So far away.
It's so far away. And I mean, this, bless him, Deezy, like he's such a solid guy, because we wake up the morning of the wedding and we're in Stratford, and he has to drive us to Chatham, Kent. Do you know where that is?
I do. Yeah.
You were there.
No, I wasn't there, but I know where Chatham, Kent is, and that's that's almost to Windsor on the 401.
So it took about 3.5 hours to get down there in a car.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm pretty much 3 hours from anything, Steve.
Oh man,
like from anything. No, you don't understand. So if Colby wants to play AAA right now, he would have to go to the tryout last year was in Stratford, and we went to one tryout, and they're like, "We want to sign him. He's on the team." And I'm like, "No, he's not. We are not playing here."
Are you paying the gas bill?
Yeah.
Can you get a driver?
Yeah. And then what do you do for like your work in like the practice at like what 5, 6 o'clock? You're like, so how does this work? Yeah.
So I was trying to put it into like UK context when that event happened, and we were hung to death that morning. And he got up, he drove 3.5 hours down there, and then 3.5 hours back. So that's basically going from Cardiff to Sheffield, and back in a day. But if you put it into one trip,
and he did that just to drive you guys there to the wedding so he could spend the night with you. I'd do the same.
If you put that into context, that's driving. If you took the Sheffield and Cardiff trip back to back, that's basically one trip going from Cardiff to Edinburgh. And I try and equate things like that now when it comes to Canada, and it still doesn't really compute. No. But that goes to show how much of a top dude he is. Yeah. Because he got up, he was hung to bits, he drove us down, didn't complain. Well, he did slightly complain, and then he got back on the road, dropped us off, and that was it. I actually haven't seen him since, to be honest, but we do kind of keep.
It's hard to see people where you're living and where he's living.
I agree. Well, where is he right? He's in Europe somewhere, isn't he?
He's in like Hungary. That sounds like the wrong country. He's in one of those countries in the league where I've been chatting with people.
Yeah.
And their team was supposed to win it last year, and then he was supposed to be done. They didn't win it, and he's a bit competitive, and I think he wants to win it before he's done.
He's one of those guys I wish that could have stayed around here a little bit more.
He's the type of guy I wish I would have played with, you know?
Yeah, I can imagine. Mm-hmm. It's such a good dude. Wish him well, though.
Jeepers, we got a lot to talk about. Another poster pick, which this one's not as positive as the Matska night. You're with him and his daughter, right?
Yeah. The charity game.
I can't even see you now. You're too far back that you're blurred now.
Oh, the camera's
dear.
gone.
Jeepers, you're just right out of there. So anyways, yeah. Tell me while you're blurred and you're trying to fix that you're still blurred. Can't even see your nice ginger hair.
Can you see me now? No?
Not really. Should I pause it while you keep working at it? What'd you do?
I didn't do. Honestly, I think it's Canadian connection. Honestly,
You might have to show us the workbench in the background.
Okay.
But anyways, the Matska night, that would have been a great night for you to get to see him and the kid and help them out, and like that the Devils did that for him. That was awesome, right?
Yeah, and like, you know, huge kudos to Franny and all the guys for getting that to happen. I mean, such an emotional time that was, because if like a lot of fans would probably remember Matska, and I remember him just being so strong and so physical, you know, a big, strong, healthy guy. And you know, when that disease sadly strikes people, you see them kind of be sort of prisoners of their own body. There's a rugby league player here at the moment going through the same thing, who's well publicized. And every time I see it sort of on the news or whatever, it just brings me back to Matska.
Yeah.
But what an unbelievable guy. Just that charity night really kind of hit home what type of guy he was. Just unfazed. He had a job to do. The appreciation for Cardiff and the club and the people who made it happen was just, you know, so close to his heart. And I remember his son sort of skating out with Pele. And I was standing next to him actually in the box at that time, just seeing him sort of well up and start getting a little bit emotional. And that'll stay with me for quite a long time, I think. You know, not having kids of my own, I suppose, you know, I never really appreciated it as much as I probably should have. But even for someone like me, seeing the emotion that people were on their feet applauding him, and then his son going out in his place to play a game of hockey, just mind blowing. Really something that'll stick with me for a long time, I think.
And
I feel like I'm getting emotional right now speaking about
no,
it.
I know, and it was tough question to ask, but yeah, like you see what he meant to everybody, and everybody says such great things, and I wish I could have him in the shed, but it's weird for me because there's like stuff I've helped out with since starting this. And then you kind of keep moving on and you keep having guys on, you keep chatting, you keep doing your thing. And it's like, well, what's happening now, right? Like when he was still with us, everybody was doing all those things for them. And it's like, hey, you're back. And then all of a sudden it's like they just got to carry on, right? Like it's weird to think of that, like they have all this stuff happen, and then all of a sudden after that, it's like, well, now they have to continue on with life without him, which gotta be tough.
I mean, like Katie, his wife, she came back over when Scott couldn't actually travel. And I remember we were at a restaurant in Penarth, and they set up the house with cameras and speakers, so you could literally, like, you know, dial in there and then from an app and speak to him. Just and at that point he wasn't very mobile and he wasn't able to speak, but we were talking to him through the speakers, and you know, he'd sort of look up, and just that little kind of glance to a camera was just enough for us to
to know he
and he you know, it's just such a horrible disease.
No kidding.
And I'm, you know, what a guy, what a family, and really just, you know, to be part of that evening in any capacity, and to everyone who came to that event was, you know, just such a nice thing to be part of. And I think we'll always remember him in Cardiff for sure.
Absolutely. And I do think it says a lot about you and your brother that you guys are invited to shit like that, because there's teammates that wouldn't be invited, and you guys are teammates. You guys are part of it. You're shed guys, and that's why you're invited to stuff like that. So moving on to more positive things.
Yeah.
One of your poster picks was with Deeds that we talked about, and Biz in a shopping cart. Boy, has that guy gotten big time, eh?
Yeah, he's big time now, isn't he?
You guys knew him when he was just a punk in the EIHL, right?
Yeah, that first night when he landed, and it was him, Batchy, and Deedsy living together at that time in the Bay, and he came in pretty hot, to be honest. Wanted to get out, see the city straight away. So Batchy was a pup back then. He was probably in early 20s. He came out, breaking the rules a little bit, I suppose. Deedsy did the same. And Chris and I joined, and I remember, I remember sort of Batchy went home. We're like, okay, so Deezy's still here, so that's good. There's the babysitter, and we're just getting worse and worse, and there's more beers flying. And then all of a sudden, it's like 1:30. These guys are like, they got a game tomorrow in Edinburgh. They got to get on the bus for. I'm starting to feel a little bit like guilty that we've got him out, and Deedsy's gone. And we're like, okay, so both of them have gone. Right, it's our responsibility to get this guy back to the apartment and make sure he gets rested and ready on the road for tomorrow. You're thinking like, G's going to go mad here if he finds out he's with us. And
well, you don't want the coaches to get mad at you, right? With your role on the team as social, what is it?
Unofficial social secretaries. That's what we.
Yes. So you don't want the coach mad at you with your position on the team.
No, because it spoils everything, then, doesn't it? You don't get the privileges. No. But it kind of happened. It got a little bit out of control. Like we were really like in one. Deedsy's gone, Batchy's gone. We get a taxi back. We get to the apartment and the door's locked. So he has it's literally his first night and he has no key. So we're thinking, shit, man, like, what are we going to do here? Like, give Deedsy a call, no answer. Give Batchy a call. 17, 18, 20 times each of them. Chris, they
just can't wake up. They're done.
They're just dead, man. So Biz is kind of like, oh, well, I'll phone someone from the team to come over. And I'm like, Biz, it's like 3:00 in the morning. Like, no one's going to answer. You've got to be up in 3 hours to get on the bus to go to Edinburgh. So we end up opening up Chris's car, which is on Deedsy's driveway, and literally like putting the seats back, driver and passenger, and Biz is on the back seat. And we're like taking suit jackets off, and Chris has always got a suit jacket handy somewhere. So he takes his suit jacket off, he goes in the boot, there's like FootJoy gear and all that to sort of keep each other warm. We leave the car on and get a heat going. And we have to just sleep in Chris's company car. And this is his first night here, and they got to play Edinburgh, the game, the day after. So it gets to 6:00, we haven't slept at all. The sun comes up, and Biz is like, oh, I haven't slept a wink, boys, I'm in a bad way or whatever. And we're like, look, we're really, really sorry. Like, didn't mean for this to happen at all. And then gets on the bus.
You were just trying to make him feel welcome in Cardiff, right?
Yeah, like we're literally just trying to make him feel welcome, just showing him the sights and sounds, and we just got a bit carried away, I suppose. Like,
just a touch.
Excited. And and that's it. Then he gets on the bus. He apparently sleeps in the middle of the bus all the way up to Edinburgh, and I think he has like 3 points. He scores 2 goals and an assist.
Right. So and he's a gamer. He would have showed up and done his thing, right?
Yeah, well, there you go. So basically, if you want a good introduction, come out on a lash with the Georges, get on a bus, and go and do your thing afterwards. That's the way it works.
Okay, what's funny about this one is the research team couldn't really get hot other than writing down funny stories, but here's one. Well, actually, it's still your poster picks. I'm still on the first page of this, so we might not get much to the back page, No,
that's fine.
Okay. I don't get jealous very often of poster picks. You sent me a poster pic of you with Chef, Huddy, Benty, Marty, Pigs, Hoth, Chris, your brother, Lordo, Deuce, Fords, Mo, and Big Lou. So is that like right after I'm done, you're on a team trip?
I think that is Portugal.
dear.
No, I don't think I know. That's Portugal for the Hotham Stag Do after post season.
Right. So that's the year-end party, similar to when we went to France for a stag do.
Similar to when we went to France, a little bit more sunny than Morzine, a little less snow, but all the while pretty good fun. If I'm honest, it was a good time. We I've been lucky.
Totally different trip though, Ave. Like, and it's interesting for people from Canada how you guys have so many different trips from right there that you can do compared to Canadians. We got to go a long ways to see all that. You guys go to Portugal, or you go to Morzine, France, which is a skiing trip, or you go for a beach, right?
Yeah. It's kind of
same time of year.
Well, it is, isn't it? Like, you can go. We went to Morzine, and we were on the Swiss border, and it was cold, but it was sunny, but it was snow. And you go to Portugal, just down south, and you're in 23, 24 degree weather in April, which is perfect for me because obviously I don't tan that well, so I don't want it to be up in the 30s. But and I've been really lucky because I get in, Chris and we get invited on a couple of those trips at the end of season, and we've been with you. Before you, I was in Germany with the boys, and then we had Portugal, Ireland.
Those are lifelong memories that you'll never get back. Those trips, like just my one to Morzine, is stories I have forever, and you've done that way more than I did, and you didn't play.
No, I didn't play at all. So I always feel like really.
I hope the folks realize how big of a legend you and your brother are, just so they get it. I don't think they get it until they get it.
That's good. But I think we're good tourists. We're good at getting up. We're good at getting out of the hotel and just getting amongst it. I think that's the
getting
main
on
thing.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah, because do you remember me and you shared a room in Morzine, didn't we? We shared like the top. We shared the top floor, and you had the corner bed.
Was it Hendo in there too?
Yeah, me and Hendo.
Yeah, I was tucked in some corner there for at least a day.
You did, and you never got to get up in the morning because you were injured. Your knee was gone.
I couldn't ski, so yeah, I could only do the red saucer at night.
Yeah, but I couldn't ski either, so I should have just stayed in bed. I mean, Joey Mines, terrible skier. Wilsey, terrible skier. So
I know those were the ones that would come back and be like, "Hey, we're taking a break," and I was like, "Oh, geez, I really wish I could be skiing right now." That's because they sucked at it.
Me, Marty, and Wilsey, terrible. So all I think it was Hotham and Mo and Hendo, Lordo, Deuce, and Huddy. They went off in their own little group. They were doing like the black slopes and me. Do you remember those guys? Those Pepe and what's his name? Pepe and someone else.
Oh yeah, I remember the French fellas. Yeah,
the
one guy I held onto his pole the whole way down on the red saucer.
Just to clarify, the pole means
ski pole. Ski pole.
Yes,
and he was a very good skier. Kept me from dying when I saw what I did the next day.
He was a very good skier, but he wasn't a very good coach because he was telling us to go backwards and stuff. Trying to give us lessons on you skating backwards down a hill. And poor old Wilsey, he tried it. Honestly, if someone didn't go up and rescue him, he'd still be there, Wilsey.
Well, if that guy wouldn't have been with me, I was on that red little saucer all the way down the mountain. And then that guy, I hold on to his pole and he makes sure I don't fall off the mountain. And then we get to near the bottom and all the boys are like in a group, right? Stopped before the end. And I'm like, look how these guys are all stopped. I'm like, I'm going to show them I made it all the way down the mountain with my red saucer. And I go flying by everybody. I've let go of the pole and I'm just going on the red saucer. And then I realize the moguls are coming. Yeah. And I went over the moguls on that red saucer with my bad knee after the surgery. And holy moly, that was a time. But we made her back.
I've got a video of that, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Jeepers.
It's even more ridiculous when you look at it from the aspect that I was looking at it from.
What's interesting to me is since I didn't have a lot of photos and videos and memories of
everything until you start the shed. And then apparently there's a lot of people taking photos and videos that you don't know about, right?
Do you remember, like, the Euro people will know this if they listen to this podcast, but we used to have a sports store over here called Intersport. And Intersport is still very much a thing in Europe.
It is in Germany. It was huge there. Yeah.
Yeah, huge. But I can't remember this, but well, I can remember it, but I was really drunk. But you and I went to an Intersports, like, in-store party, and they got a ladder. They got a ladder down, and then we ended up in the loft.
We were up in their attic. We were up in the attic of the little Intersport, and then they were having meetings about their actual professional hockey team.
Yeah, that's right. That was like the hub. It was like a treehouse.
It was. We were up in a treehouse with like fans of the Morzine hockey team. It was like the fan club meeting, and we were in the middle of it, and I was wearing a hockey helmet.
Yeah, you were in a hockey, and I think you were giving advice on like general management of a hockey club.
You're right.
I'm pretty sure they're not paying attention to you, Wally.
Yeah, they're not. They're not getting it. I'm like, they should get it.
You look fucking weird for a start.
You're fat. You're wearing a helmet, and you can't even ski, and you're on a ski trip.
Yeah, I wouldn't give them advice, but again, it's those type of memories.
If they don't want to listen to the advice, that's fine. There's people listening now.
You were just sipping on an Aperol Spritz going, I know what I'm talking about. I'm Canadian. I mean, like,
that was an interesting night when we were in those meetings. That you sent me that photo. It's tough look.
Yeah, great days though. Great days.
That was one of the best trips ever. Yep, that was a fun time, right?
Yeah. And the wine that you can buy from a supermarket out there, which you and I were drinking out of the bottle on the back of the minibus. It's so good. Honestly, it's the best place to go if you.
And you're buying wine for like €5 a bottle, and it's the best stuff you've ever drank, and you're like, good gosh, this is fun.
Petrol station wine is, it's
best
not
ski trip I've ever been on without skis.
Yeah.
Poster pick that we can't pass over now that we're on the topic is you and I at the restaurant in Morzine. So Huddy, Crazy Carl, gets us the reservation at a place he knew from when he played there. We go there, run amok. They have fondue. I got carried away. I didn't know how good it could taste. Yeah. I didn't know what to do when you could dip bread in it so often and it would taste good every time, that I ordered it again the second time. And second time didn't feel as good eating it. I felt very bloated. And that picture you put on the poster where I'm wearing the hockey helmet and we're sitting there, I can just feel how bunged up I was because of all the fondue, right?
You're like Ron Burgundy, man, in the 80s. It was just, but like, you think of it, what tastes good? Cheese, melted cheese tastes good, and bread tastes good.
Fresh bread.
If you combine those two assets together, you have yourself like an amazing dish constantly.
Right.
so
And you can just keep dipping and dipping. But the problem is you got to get it out of the system after, right?
And the difference was we were on the slopes at 7:30 every day, and you were in bed, just carb loading every day.
Loading.
It did backfire slightly on the ones who weren't skiing on the trip.
Right. But you guys got to ski it off, right?
Would you do anything different if you were out there right now?
No, I would actually do all the same things I did. Yeah. Would you do anything different?
I would learn to ski before I went.
I never had I
mean, I wouldn't take the lessons from Pepe seriously. I would probably go and, pay a couple of quid.
Pepe was a beauty too, though. We should get him in the shed.
You should.
Was his English good? I can't remember. He was French.
Right? No, I remember speaking to him in sign language at one point.
That's going to be a tough listen when he has a hard time with English, but is just an absolute beauty and shed guy, right?
What you should do, you should try and fly him out in the winter and take him on the slopes and do an interview out there.
What kind of budget you think the shed's got here?
I don't know what sponsorship we get in here. I'm sure the people of fondue.com is going to sort of chip in now.
You would think they would get involved. You'd think people would get involved. There's enough people listening. You'd think some people would reach out, but hey, can't control everything. I don't have a sales team, folks. You'd have to listen, right?
Come on, those people in Uzbekistan who are tuning in.
Exactly. Well, there's so many notes on here. There's one I got to bring up before we're done. Colbster's back up, but is when my old man came over, Papa to Colby came over, and there was a night at Tiger. The team shows up. We're playing ping pong. We're doing all sorts of things with the kids. You've rented a back room, and it turned into a karaoke, just a karaoke melee in a back room with my old man and myself. Right?
Yeah. Just what a night that was.
It was something. And that the memories like that they have from coming over to Cardiff. And I bet there are so many parents that came over to Cardiff and you had fun with them. And they were like, I have never had this much fun before. Because you did that to me.
Yeah. Well, that's really kind. And it does mean a lot. You know what? If you just leave a good impression about Cardiff, the city and the country and the people, because we're all, I think I said this on the last time we talked, but I really do think there's massive synergies between us and the Canadian people. And when I go to that side of the pond, I'm honestly just treated like an absolute king. You know, it's like people want to fight against each other to try and entertain me, to
see who can have the most fun,
or just to host. And you know, it's an amazing thing. And I really do think, like, you know, with Cardiff and the hockey club and the people that come over, and this has happened years before my time as well, you know, that I've been involved. I know loads of people who still have really long lasting relationships with ex-players who came over back in the 80s and 90s. And they remain very strong to this day. And I think that's just testament to like the type of people that play hockey, you know, the Canadian and American people and the Welsh people combining. In all honesty, I think it's a real strong relationship and a strong bond. It sounds a bit deep, doesn't it? But I honestly do.
I got to jump in there because it's quite deep for me too. And then you start to shed, and I did spend most of my professional career in Germany. However, I live in a Scottish settlement here now where we have Scottish fests, we have Scottish this, Scottish that. And then everywhere around here, like it's interesting for me now that I've gotten older and wiser, is like the kid plays hockey in Neustadt. And I'm like, oh, in German, that means Newtown. And I'm like, so those were Germans that stopped there and made that name. And then you go to that town and it's people from wherever. But I fit in the UK. I felt like I really fit in with everybody. And I feel like I really fit in where I am now. And when I look at like who looks at the stuff, I can't tell who's from Kincardine and who's from Scotland, and I can't tell who's from Wales because they all got the same last names. And it makes me realize how small the world is, that there's certain people that got on boats and came over here and named these towns. And now I get along with them and I get along with the people over there. And it's like, this is weird to me.
Yeah, it always shocks me how small, especially the hockey world, sports world in general, but like the hockey world seems like next level when it comes to people, you know, or if you've played hockey and you can, you know, bump into someone at a bar and talk to them about where they've been, you're guaranteed to, or you're almost guaranteed to know someone that they played with or played against.
When the research team gets hot, it is wild. Like,
yeah,
most of the time, I only write down half of the guys that I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's some other stories or some skeletons hanging up about the other guys, probably.
Before we shut her down, though, today, because I do have to make it to Obscene Halloween in Elmira, right?
Yeah. Well, didn't get any hype, but fine.
I've never talked about that a fella from Cardiff now has a tattoo of me on him.
Interesting.
Right? Never would have thought that would happen in my lifetime.
Is it your face?
Yep. My body too. My body. my face and body with the
Face
devil
and body on someone's body.
with pigs spray painting my belly, with muffin mitts for Hendo's kid. Hendo's kid said I had muffin mitts. Hunter, legend.
Yeah. Shed
Says
guy.
on the shed guy puts on the pod that I got muffin mitts, and now Swirly here in Cardiff has a tattoo of muffin mitts with me topless on his forearm.
Really? Well, you know, if you're gonna have someone tattooed, why not be Brent Walton, I say?
I get right.
I mean, who do you think, in terms of the Cardiff players you played with, would be the most tattooable guy to have imprinted for life on someone's body?
What? Not me. Not me.
You got to name someone. Who is the most?
I think I would get the Hendrix hockey tattoo on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think his beard, and he's one of my favorites. If I had to choose, sure.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. I'd probably get Hunter's face on there. I don't know what. I wouldn't get a tattoo, so I don't know. I
think I maybe go Carl Hudson, but with full flow.
Well, I do Carl Hudson at the Christmas party, hair down, pretending to play the air guitar in front of everybody, I believe, while your band's playing.
Yeah, I'd probably go something like that.
Right? That actually is a pretty good tattoo. Is Carl in the middle of the dance floor playing the air guitar with the hair over the face, and then you and your band actually playing behind him. That's a good tattoo.
Maybe you should put a pod poll out for Ales and Hockey Tales about who do the people who listen to this feel is the most tattooable player from the Cardiff Devils that you played with. And maybe the lucky winner will get funded to go and get that tattoo done in real life.
To who? Who's putting it on them?
Well, the tattoo artist, probably. I mean, I'm not going to do it.
No, I mean, like, who's getting it on their body? Are you going to get the tattoo?
No, I mean, you know, we'll have a poll about people who want to get tattoos of players.
Oh, so and then we'll make this a thing where, like, tattoos of guys on people is a thing.
And then the person who makes the best case for themselves to get a tattoo of a player on their body gets funded by the community of
or we could do a raffle of some kind and make some money in the shed and then pay for their tattoo, right?
Yeah, there's legs in it. That's all I'm saying. There's potential.
There is potential, and I think it's I don't know what the word is, right? Is it humbling? I was out of the game for 5 years and I didn't really text with many people. I was having a tough go. I got back into it. I got to see all my friends. I got to talk about all the fun things we've done. And now I'm tattooed on a guy, right?
Is it humbling? Is it distressing? Is it anxiety inducing? Is it exciting? Who knows? I don't think I'll ever have anyone tattoo my face on their body. So I'll never be able to
I never thought I would either, right? So that's, you know.
I think Bevo, I think Voth had someone tattooed. Someone had their leg tattooed.
Well, so whether Big Lou is gonna come to the shed or not, you know, we are champions together. We became champions of the Matthew Myers testimonial together. But whether or not he's gonna come to the shed, we are linked for life, because right below my muffin mitts tattoo on Swirly is number 4 Big Lou right there on the wrist, right? So we are, whether you want to come to the shed or not, whether you're nervous, I'm right here for you. I'll keep you comfortable, Big Lou, but we are together for life, right?
But someone who definitely hasn't got muffin mitts, by the way.
No, he doesn't. No, I don't. I'm not fighting him, right?
No. No one should.
You really shouldn't. It's a bad idea. Do people still fight him? Like voluntarily?
I think some guy from Manchester did the other
Actually,
day.
and I think it happened right after I talked to Matt Ginn and I said, who on your team's tough? I'm like, when Big Lou's mucking around, who on your team is actually going to step up and do it? And I actually, when I saw that happen, I was like, whoever this dude is, I need him in the shed because that guy's a shed guy. If you're willing to do that for the team, you got balls of steel, my man. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's a better man than a lot of other people, but definitely wouldn't catch me doing it.
No. I'd rather hang out with him and be on the same team.
Didn't you fight someone on your last game for Cardiff? Was it Noble? Didn't you try and fight him?
Oh, I didn't try. I did.
You did, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't say I ran amok. I did not. That wasn't my activity on the ice, but I did my best and I tried to bring the team together.
Was that the day that Joey lobbed that water bottle at his head as well? When he
it was right after that. That was so he almost killed Crazy Carl, almost took his knees out, and I was like, nope, that's not acceptable. And then I chucked the muffin mitts at him, and then that wasn't quite enough for the team to hurt him because I didn't do a good enough job with the muffin mitts. That then on the way behind the bench, Marty hit him in the face with a water bottle.
Great shot as well, wasn't it? Like
what a throw. Even got suspended for a game. What a goat.
The goat, man. That's what he does. Lucozade hurts, man. Lucozade bottles hurt.
But that's what makes teams is guys like Marty and like the fellas all, you're in it together, you know? And like, you know, that I tried to do it. I don't do that good of a job. But then Marty's like, you know what? He didn't get it good enough. And then he hits him in the face with the water ball. And then it's like, boom, he's been hitting the chin. Ha.
Yeah. And,
right.
and it was it felt worth it, I suppose, at the time as well.
Mm-hmm. You know what, sir? Got a lot of stuff still to talk to you about, but there's a lot of stuff to do in the world. Last question. Okay.
Yeah.
The picture of you in the bar with the Taz head on. I just posted it while I was wearing the Taz head before a pregame speech there at Wally night. Why were you wearing it? Wasn't that at a bar? That Taz head has been around, eh? That's had some fun. I remember our goat, Joey Martin, having it on after at season end party, doing a little dance with it and whatnot. Just
that was my boy DJ Hoth in the rink party at the big blue tent, kind of raiding the store cupboards. I think it was after you guys won the Challenge Cup for the first time. So there was a good beer pong game being played in the change rooms. Obviously, wasn't invited, but I came down anyway. And we found this Taz outfit, and like, there's no way that we're not wearing this out tonight. And
right.
Hothers, I call them Hothers. I know people take the piss out of me for that, but I call them Hothers. The Hothers is like, yeah, we are taking
the piss out of someone. What is that? Taking the piss. That's not a thing we say around here. What does taking the piss mean?
It's British terminology to say making fun of or ripping.
Right. Yes. Taking the piss.
Taking the piss. Not a piss, the piss.
But one thing I do enjoy is when you guys say I'm on the piss or we were on the piss, because as soon as you start pissing, you are on the piss.
I know. And piss.
Why hasn't that saying came over to North America? Because being on the piss is when you start pissing and you're pissing all the time, you are on the piss and you're having a time.
No, you're wrong.
Really?
On the piss, drinking beers, or on the piss drinking alcohol.
That's what I meant.
But you can be pissed in your terminology and be angry, but in the UK you are drunk. So
right, you're peeing because you're peeing all the time, so you're on the piss.
No, I think piss is basically a term for alcohol in this country.
No, that's because you're peeing. Yeah. No, pee is piss.
No. The piss is the booze. I think we should put it out to the fans of Ales and Hockey Tales.
Well, and here we go. We're gonna leave this with a conundrum.
What does piss mean, and what is your favorite terminology with piss involved? Call into 0800
And you can let us know. But I do think that being on the
We'll
piss
call it a
means
piss
that
bowl.
you have your first 2 or 3, and then you got to start pissing. Then you're on the piss, and then everything after that was on the piss. You can't tell me I'm wrong, because that's the only thing that makes sense.
You know, I'm probably gonna have to do a little bit more research on it, but I'm pretty sure it's
That we've figured out some shit in the shed today, but it's actually my kitchen.
For UK alcohol. But I will get back to you in maybe a year's time when I maybe or maybe not invited back on, and we will reinvigorate the piss poll that we're going to run on Ales and Hockey Tales and see what we come up with.
I agree. I think we'll get a lot of feedback here, and what
Piss
I,
back. We'll get back.
to be honest, is that you are always welcome in the shed at any time. I would have you on all the time. I have so many notes here that we have not discussed that I don't even know where to begin. So
maybe next year.
I think we should just get to the bottom of this, is that on the piss is when you start peeing, when you've started to drink. That is what I think, and that's what I always thought of it. And if I'm wrong, please let me know, right?
But it's developed over here. Because you'll go like, oh, what was he drinking? He's like, oh, I don't know what he was drinking, but he was definitely drinking a pint of piss.
Oh, so it's not like he was on the piss.
Yeah, but he's on the piss, but you know,
he's drinking the piss. He's not drinking the piss. He's on the piss.
But you can't predefine what type of alcohol he was drinking.
But he's on the piss, B. That means he's peeing.
No, he's on the piss. So that means a type or a form of alcohol that he's consuming, or her, because it's the 21st century. You know, girls go on the piss as well.
And I've seen it. I've seen pictures of gals in Cardiff totally mangled, pissing themselves, actually.
Salt of the earth, Wally. Salt of the earth.
I agree. I got nothing but great things to say about the people of Cardiff, and it was a fantastic time.
I do love, just before we sign off, I do love the fact you hold this so dear as well. The brief time you spent here, but it clearly means quite a lot to you. And I think all the fans, you know, when you came back and you see the fans who are reacting to you, that must be a nice feeling, eh? Like having that not like adoration, but
to be honest, the more I've thought about it over time and what's gone on, because it's hard to sit down and like think sometimes, but I did bounce around a bit. You know, thought I found a home at Western Michigan. Team doesn't do that well. They maybe celebrate guys that won more. Then you go to Bietigheim and you're one of their guys and you're like the main guy there and they love you and you win the championship, and then you're asked to kindly leave. Then you win in Denmark, they ask you to kindly leave. And then it's like, geez, like, am I not a good guy? Am I not a good teammate? Like, these people, you win and then they don't want you. And man, that can mess with you. Can mess with you big time. And then when I got to Cardiff and I thought I was going to be the guy, and then I show up and like, I'm not really the guy and I'm not playing that good. But then the way that team worked was that I could be on the third line and get the third line scoring. Was that then that team worked and we were good. And then I was like, okay, I'm good with this because I'm near the end and I don't need to put up however many points. I'm like, I'm fine with this. Just like, as long as I'm having fun and enjoying life and I got the kids and whatever. And like the way it's all gone is like, it took me too long to find my home in hockey, which there's so many guys that never find a home and they go all over the place. It's like, I found my home at the end, right?
Which is that sad for you or rewarding?
I don't know. I think it's, I was accepted for who I was and the teammate I was. And, you know, where some people want 6-packs, right? I don't have that.
You can
sometimes I do.
Yeah. You can buy them.
Yeah.
Bring them around Hoth and Hendo's house.
Right. And sometimes they help win championships, but maybe that's my crazy ideas, right?
Yeah, no. Oh, interesting though. Interesting stuff
It's
there.
very interesting how it's all gone though, is that 70% of the folks listening are from Cardiff. And like, I never felt like more like at home. And when I played those games, the big blue tent, you'd play the game, you'd give her everything you had. And whether you won or lost, the team would be in the room and we'd be together, we'd be a team. And then we would go out to the bar and we'd be a team and we'd meet all the fans and the great dudes and the great people around the team. And like everybody was just a big family. And it's very bizarre how this is all gone, that it's turned into all this crap, you know?
Great.
But I guess if I was welcomed everywhere and everybody wanted me back, then I wouldn't have gone so many places, right?
Yeah, but then, you gotta recognize that it's not every player that gets the same type of reception like you. So whatever you did here is obviously being accepted and really recognized and appreciated. And I think the from my side, you do this podcast and it's hockey orientated, but it's always very Cardiff orientated. And I think that's a nice thing for us down here to know that someone like you is really sort of, honed in on doing something from one focal point, which has gone so big. And it started, Ales and Hockey Deal started with Cardiff sort of talk. It's gotten bigger, obviously, now, but
it still is that. And like this,
yeah,
it's crazy how like this season's happening. And it's like, it's all happening so fast. It's like, I planned on having this guy, that guy, and this guy on. And it's like, this season could be over before I even get around to that. I have no time.
Yeah, you should just can people like me and just get like the real interesting people, like the players back.
You are the real interesting people. That's why I had you on. Think about this. You've helped the team win championships for years and years, and you skate with a penguin.
Hey, you should stop saying that. I've got some really good footage of me on an ice lake in Edmonton last Christmas doing crossover.
Wearing Canadian jeans or European jeans?
I was wearing pajamas actually at that time. But no, I will never wear Canadian jeans. That's just a big no for me.
I understand. You dress well, you're slick. Yeah, I can't wear European jeans. I don't have the body type. You do, right?
Well, some of us are blessed, Wally. What can we say?
And seriously though, what I love about what we're doing is, or what I guess what I'm doing is, I miss my friends and I never got to talk to any of them. You were on episode 57 and I looked at it. That was when I was at the cottage with my family. We've already had that annual tradition a year later. It's been well over a year since me and you have connected, and we used to hang out every week.
Every Monday.
And to think about how much fun this is for me, folks, you guys have no idea. And you have no idea how many episodes I actually want to do.
No, it's very kind. Thank you for having me on, mate. It means a lot. And if just to come on the one time was enough. But to be invited back is really, really nice, rewarding. So hope everyone's maybe got something else.
For you to say that to me about me talking to you is crazy, because I want to talk to you every week, and I do with everybody, and it's crazy how none of us have time, but at least I have a way to do this now, and I miss you. I miss all the fun we had at Cardiff. You are the reason, you and your brother and Fat Alan, why that team has had so much success, why players like playing there so much. It's not just me. There's the Hoths, there's the Hendos, there's so many guys, there's Dicko, there's so many guys that their fun time in Cardiff lines up with hanging out with you guys. And I tell you, I've never had so much fun. And you hear the story of what you did with Finner's house. That is exactly the type of fun I'm into.
I tell you what, like that means a lot. And long may it continue.
Absolutely.
There's got to be a point where these guys don't want to hang around with me and Chris because we're too old. But for the next couple of years at least, hopefully we'll dig deep and keep on doing what we do. But just thanks to you for getting me on, and really love the podcast. Keep on doing what you're doing, man. It's good for people to listen to.
Well, I love it, and I hope people enjoy it too. I get nice things sent to me, which is cool, but I'm actually doing it because I love it. So it's been great seeing you today, and I can't
You
wait
too,
to
brother.
see you
You too.
again, man. And tell Chris I say hi. And sorry I did a one-on-one this time.
He's fine about it. He's fine. He's just crying in the corner over there. It's all right.
Okay. Well, I miss you.
Wally.
And this has been
Me-
another episode of Two L's and Hockey Tales with Stevie and Wally.